Fishing with Gary today. Hey guys, let me give you a quick tip on bait casters before I blow into the shore. Excuse me. The number one question I hear when we do our seminars or I'm down on the floor at the Bass Pro Shop is, I bought a brand new bait caster and I just can't throw it. Well, you know what? You're leaving one of the best tools at home, because let me give you a tip on how to throw this bait caster, all right? It's on the side here, on this side, be the left side of the bait caster. First off, you gotta set these magnets on the left-hand side of the reel. Don't just take it out of the box and expect that this thing is gonna work perfect for you, because it's not, all right? So I always set mine right in the middle, 5 or 6, for the first few casts. Okay, I've been doing this for a lot of years, so don't just take it out of the box and use it. So the first thing you need to do is set the magnets on this side. Then you got to adjust the weight that you have on the end of your lure. And by doing that, I'm using a 1/4 ounce with a brush hog. So let me just point this towards you. You want this spool just to barely turn. That's too fast. This little knob right under the handle controls that. For this to work, you just barely turn it forward, and it doesn't have to be much. See how my reel is just barely going down? When you release the bail, you want that thing just to barely turn like that, okay? That's what you want as a beginner. As you start using your bait caster, you're gonna get more comfortable and you can start loosening that up to where that bait caster spool starts turning like that. But that's how you get your backlashes. So you want that thing where you barely can get it to turn. All right. If you're right-handed, you want those handles straight up. This is very important. These handles have to be up. I let this rest on my forearm right like this. All right. I take about a foot down. Now, everything is in your wrist. I don't want to see you doing this, because that's not the right way. You go straight back with it like this, and you cock your wrist all the way back, and you throw it up in the air. And now it's not going to go far, so you need to do this at home to practice. So I'm going to loosen that up just a hair. I'm going to just throw that out like that, and then you're going to stop it where you want to stop it. Push the button here. It's not going anywhere. I'm going to loosen that up just a hair. One little tiny click. Now, I'm going to go back, cock that thing back as far as you can, and just throw it up in the air like that. You don't try to throw it hard. You just barely throw it at first to get it used to. And then you're stopping that bail with your thumb. I leave my thumb on there all the time, resting on this and barely touching the line as we go down the bank. So let's try it again. We're going to see how loose it is by pushing that. Okay, see it? It's just barely turning. This is for beginners. You guys that have been throwing these things for 10, 15 years, you already know how to throw this. There's too many guys that need the 101 class. Push the button, cock it back, and just throw it. Not hard. You're not slinging it like a spinning rod. It's a little different. Once you get used to this, you will love it. You won't want to use your spinning rod anymore. Guaranteed. So when you buy that rod and reel from the Bass Pro Shop, and by the way, this is probably one of the better bait casters that I've seen. This is a Johnny Morris's Platinum. It's red and white, beautiful. It's got a matching reel, all right, Bass Pro Shop reel. These have Win grips, meaning Win golf club grips. It's soft all the time. There's many reasons why you should be using the bait casters. For one, you can throw heavier line. I like using XPS fluorocarbon 12 and 14 pound on my bait caster. The lighter the line you go, like 8 pound, 6 pound, it doesn't work. You need to throw that on a spinning rod. Minimum 10 pound test and up. 12 pounds works the best, 12, 14, 16. You have more control over that bait caster when you're casting it. Once you get that thing to go, start using it, you know, by this, you can actually learn how to pitch. You can watch this. You know, I take my bait, I hold it right by the rod. I go down, hold my rod down, and I just sling it out like that. Okay, that's pitching. Flicking's a little bit different. You know, you just take your hand out like this, and you're just, you know, throwing it up towards, you know, a bush or a rock. This wintertime right now, the fish are out deep. They're out in 15, 18, 20 feet deep. So, you know, but once you learn how to do this, you don't have to do it like this. You can just take your rod like this and just go like that. That's how easy it is. But first of all, you need to go home and practice. Go in the backyard. If you have a swimming pool, get back at one end and just lob it. Just try to lob it out there until you get that down pat. If you don't have a swimming pool, do it in the street or the carport or something, you know. Or do it at the lake, you know. So we've already set that to 5. It goes up to 10, this dial. Set it at 5 or 6. Turn your rod, handles up. And sometimes I'll hold the bottom like this to get more leverage, and I'll just throw it. I'm not throwing it hard. If I want to throw it hard, I'll throw it way down there, but I like to keep close to the bank. You know, I like to keep it fairly close to the bank. So there's a number of ways. The overhand cast, remember, the handles always go up. That's easy to remember. If you're left-handed, the handles are going to go down like this. Right-handed, they go up. Left-handed, they go down. When you pitch, the bait goes back to your reel, and you're just lobbing it out towards the shoreline. That's where this comes in handy. You can always stop that thing, you know, before you can stop it on a dime. So then after you start getting good and you want to practice, you just go in your backyard, put out a bucket, and then try to get this in the bucket each time. If you can learn how to pitch, you can pitch a long ways, you know. You can just let it go out there nice and easy. Bring the bait back up to your handle, drop your rod like this, and then just let it go out like that. Once you master that, boy, I tell you, then you can pitch it underhand over to the trees, the rocks. Setting up your reel is important. Remember, do not use it just taking it out of the box. I always leave about that much line hanging down. Handles up. Okay? Remember, you're casting with your wrist. Like this. Hold your forearm straight up and down and just cast. Do not be taking your whole arm like this and casting. It's bad for your rotator cuffs, but just sit there and just cast like that. That's how easy it is to do. Remember, you can always have a lot of control. When the wind's blowing, it's hard to control. You know, you got to get used to it because that bait will go from one side to the other. That's the only bad problem. You may be really proficient when there's no wind, but when the wind blows, it's hard casting into the wind. Always remember that. A lot of us don't look good. We don't look like pros when we do that. It's very, very hard. Here we go. So I've been pitching. So now I'm going to show you a little bit of flipping and how you can control this bait. So you can let a lot of line out this way. So this is called flipping. Pulling your line out with your hand to the side and releasing it and letting it go back in. Now
what is that good for?
This is good for when you're close to, weeds, like if you're fishing Alamo or up in the river somewhere where there's lots of trees and stuff around you and you can't pitch very good, but you want to just sit there and you just want to put it right in the tree and let it go down to the bottom and catch your fish. We have flipping, pitching, and overhand. Those three are the key things you need to use when you're using a baitcaster reel. It's a lot of fun, and like I said, when you master it, you'll be saying thank you. It's that good. It's that much fun. So you think you got the idea of pitching, flipping, and casting? Hang on one second. I got about 3 fish right here underneath my boat. You get it out to the bottom. Jig it a little bit. There he is. You didn't know it was that easy, did you? Neither did I. Whoop, that's kind of a nice one. Good 1.5 pounds, 1 3/4. Wow. All right. I'm gonna let this one go. There he goes.